Hey friends, welcome to Not My Kitchen. As you can see, I am not at home today. I am in a hotel. And this is something I've been wanting to do for quite some time. So when the opportunity presented itself, I jumped on it. We are gonna be making a Thanksgiving dinner in a hotel kitchen. Now, I'm a big fan of hotels with kitchens in general. I think they're a great way to travel on a budget. But one thing that I recognize is that staying in a hotel is not always about being on vacation. I know that a lot of people travel for work. Around this time of year, people are visiting their families. There could also be people displaced from their home due to fires or floods, or there are people who live in hotels long term. So today I'm at a Mainstay Suites. Now I have stayed at a lot of hotels with kitchens, and I will say that, what you can see behind me is fairly standard, but I'm gonna give you a quick overview of the hotel and the tools and equipment that we have to work with to prepare our Thanksgiving dinner. So first off, we have kind of an apartment size fridge, and it's got a freezer. They did provide some small appliances, but that is uncommon for hotels with kitchens. So it looks like we have a toaster oven, we have a toaster, an Instant Pot, a blender. There's also a griddle, a crock pot, and an air fryer. But again, the small appliances are not standard for extended stay hotels. I think they're specific to this brand. We also have a dishwasher, a 2-burner stove. This is pretty standard. I've stayed at a lot of hotels. Most of them have a 1 or 2 burner kind of cooktop. And then we also have a sink. They usually do provide some basic cooking essentials. So it looks like I have a colander, a large pot, a medium-sized pot, a skillet, and a measuring cup. Then I did already look through the drawers, and down here we have a few utensils and a can opener, as well as I think a bottle opener and stuff there. Down here I have a cutting board, dish rag, a little oven mitt and stuff. We got a little pitcher in there. I forgot to open that up last night. And then we have a couple of utensils, as well as some eating stuff. Little plates, little bowls, cups, mugs. It looks like they provided enough for 2 people. Down here is just a trash can. And I believe this was empty. Yeah, nothing in there and nothing in there. So, as you can see, we're working with very limited cooking tools, and we're doing it on a budget. I spent less than $20 on the ingredients to make today's Thanksgiving dinner. And I spent $19.34. Now the other thing to keep in mind, especially when you're staying in a hotel, is you do not have a pantry to fall back on. There's no oil, there's no salt and pepper, there's no butter, there's no seasonings, flour, sugar, none of it. So I had to budget in the full cost of every ingredient that I'm using to make today's Thanksgiving dinner. And here is everything I got. So starting over here, we have a 1-pound package of deli turkey meat. This was $4.97. A box of turkey stuffing mix. This was 97 cents. A jar of turkey gravy. That was $1.47. The cheapest cranberry sauce that Walmart had was this one, and it was $2.47. I also got these deluxe baked potatoes. This was $1. I have a pie crust. This was $1.57. A single banana was 23 cents. A can of evaporated milk, that was also $1. The vanilla pudding mix was $1.48. And whipped topping, that was $1.12. For a vegetable side, I went with this honey glazed carrots with sage butter. And that was $2 and that was $2.98. And I did swing by the deli section just for a few packets of salt and pepper. I don't anticipate that I will need this, but it's not a bad idea to have, and these were free. So that's the tools and ingredients we have to work with. Let's get cooking. The biggest thing about trying to make a Thanksgiving dinner in a hotel room is we do not have an oven to work with. So we're gonna start with dessert because we're gonna do a no-bake dessert since we don't have an oven, but that is gonna need some time to chill in the fridge. So I did go through everything in this room and I didn't see any bowls, so I'm gonna be making my pudding in a pot. And I did get evaporated milk to make the pudding because it was $1 and the cheapest regular milk that they had was $1.82, so that would have put me over budget. Evaporated milk can be diluted with water to make regular-ish milk. I would use it pretty much for cooking or baking, but not so much for drinking. And I did stick this in the freezer, so I got it pretty good and cold. Luckily, we do have a can opener. Give it a shake. This should be about, I'm gonna say that's about 1.5 cups of milk, so I'm gonna have to add some water to it as well. So I did have a measuring cup. You can, and yeah, it was right on the money. It's about 1.5 cups in there. So let's top that off with water to the 2-cup line. And that can go in our pan, along with our family size box of vanilla pudding mix. You can use banana, but I'm doing a banana cream pie, and for me, banana cream pie has always been made with vanilla pudding and just added bananas to it. I don't have a whisk either, so I might actually have to use a fork to try to break up some of these clumps. I could use the blender. I know that some of you guys are gonna be like, well, you have a blender, why don't you use that? Not every hotel with a kitchen comes with a blender, so I would rather use kind of just the very basic tools that I can to make this happen. So I'm gonna mix this. This is gonna take me a little while. I'm gonna try to get it as creamy as I can, but it's quite lumpy right now, so I'm just gonna keep going at it with a fork until I smooth out some of those lumps. And then the next thing we're gonna do is slice up our banana. Did just buy a single banana. You do not have to buy the bundles. You can just take one off the bundle and buy it individually. And next up, we have our graham cracker pie crust. I've talked about this before, but while I was at the grocery store shopping for all these ingredients, I did notice that the frozen pies are around $5, and I'm pretty sure it cost me around $5 for the ingredients to make this. So it's kind of challenging trying to balance, you know, making homemade things with buying prepared things when sometimes the prepared things are cheaper than even this kind of semi-homemade counterpart. It's an interesting dynamic out there, but we're gonna add our sliced banana covering the bottom of our pie shell, pie crust shell. And it looks like 1 banana was just the perfect amount for this. Look at that. Love it when something works out according to plan. My pudding is still a little clumpy. I don't know if that's the Walmart brand pudding. It's happened to me once before with that Sonic brand pudding that I got from Dollar Tree, but it still tastes good. And you can't really notice it whenever you go to like eat it anyways. Just looks a little clumpy. Of course, if you have like a mixer or something like that, you can make this a little bit easier. And then we're gonna finish it off with some dollops of our whipped topping. And that is gonna be our dessert, just a simple no-bake banana cream pie. You can really do any no-bake dessert that you wanted. This one was just the one that I could fit into the budget, the $20 budget. And my whipped topping is still a little frozen. So I'm gonna take a little time here and smooth out that top and make it look nice. Make it look more like a meringue, even though it's not a meringue. Give it a nice like domed top. Okay. I'm gonna pop that lid back on there, seal it up, and pop that back in the fridge while we cook the rest of our meal. Next is gonna be the main dish, which I think is gonna be pretty simple to make. We're gonna be making this box of stuffing mix. We do not have the butter to make it though, so we're gonna add a little extra water to compensate for that. So we're gonna need about 1 3/4 cup of water because it normally would get a 1/4 cup of butter. And let's get that up to a boil. All right, we're boiling. Turn off the heat. Let's mix in our stuffing mix. Give it a little toss. Make sure it's all evenly coated. And then we're gonna pop that lid on and let it rest for about 5 minutes to fully rehydrate. Take it off the heat. Slide it onto the back burner here. And this was a suggestion I have seen a lot of times. We're gonna be making some deli turkey stuffing rolls. I don't know, maybe there's a name for it. But we're using some of this deli turkey here. And what I think I'm gonna do is double up on them. So 2 slices per roll, just to make it a little more hearty. Hold on 1 second. I also wanted to put some of that cranberry in here. So let's grab our whole jellied cranberry as well. If you have kids that are not a fan of cranberry, I would definitely suggest serving this on the side. But if you're making like an adult Thanksgiving and everybody likes cranberry, feel free to put them in the rolls, which is what I'm gonna do. And take a spoonful of our prepared stuffing and put that down onto our slice of turkey. And I'm gonna take just a little bit of that cranberry jelly and we're gonna wrap those up into these little turkey sushi roll looking things. So I'm gonna do that with all of my turkey slices. And once all of my rolls are stuffed, I did get exactly 8 rolls. So for a 4-person dinner, that's 2 rolls per person, or for a 2-person dinner, that's 4 rolls per person. Fantastic, I love that. I do have a little bit of stuffing left over, and I do have most of the cranberry, so if like cranberry is your favorite part. I know a lot of you guys have mentioned on my past Thanksgiving dinners that like Thanksgiving is not complete without cranberry, so I did try to include it this time. I did have to buy a full $2.50 can just to make a few rolls, but you know, you will have leftovers that you can use for other things as well. Or you can leave it out and save yourself a couple bucks. Now here's the plan. Next up, I'm gonna grab that skillet and I'm gonna load in all of my little turkey rolls. As best as I can fit them, because it is a little bit of a smaller skillet. And then we're gonna take that jar of turkey gravy and we're gonna drizzle it over top of everything. There's a large pot with a lid. I'm gonna see if that lid will also fit the skillet. It's a little too small. That's okay. I'm going to heat this up over like medium heat. I'm just gonna toss that on there just so that like everything stays nice and moist. But that's what we're going for, kind of like turkey rolls in a pan. And while that's going, I am also going to, on my back burner here, get some water heated up for our mashed potatoes. So another 2 cups of water, and we're gonna let that come up to a boil. A little bit of a tight squeeze here on the stovetop. We're making it work. The turkey rolls are starting to simmer, so that gravy's getting nice and hot. And that, really, there's nothing to cook here. We're just trying to get everything heated through. But that's looking pretty good. Pretty much what I had in mind for that one. And my water is starting to boil back here. So we can go ahead and mix in our potatoes. I got the baked just because I thought they would have a really good flavor. And just like with the pudding mix, I don't have a whisk, so let's use this slotted spoon and get that incorporated. Also take it off the heat so it doesn't splatter everywhere. And we can just pop a lid on that and set it aside to stay warm while we heat up the veggies. I did pick up some frozen vegetables because I had about $3 left in the budget, and I thought this was a good way to use it because they are already seasoned and glazed. And so that was just the best option for the budget I had to work with. This says to microwave for 5.5 to 6.5 minutes. So let's pop that in there. And now to let it all come together. So my vision for this one is a nice scoop of mashed potatoes on the plate. Sometimes I do like to add a little more water to these potatoes because I do find them to be a little on the thicker side, as you can see. So feel free to add a little extra water or milk to them to get them a thinner consistency. But that's what we're doing. We're starting with a nice even bed of mashed potatoes. And we are gonna top that with 2 of our stuffed turkey rolls with stuffing and cranberry inside. Drizzle on a little extra of that turkey gravy. Add some veggies on the side. And then remember, we do have extra stuffing, so we can fill out our plate with some of that. A little bit of stuffing in the turkey, a little bit of stuffing on the plate. Stuffing's the best part of Thanksgiving anyways. And then we also have some extra cranberry we can add to our plate for a little color as well. And that is my Thanksgiving dinner in a hotel kitchen. I think this is a fun Thanksgiving dinner that you can make on a budget and without an oven. So, shall we give it a taste? I want some of this turkey roll. I mean, you can't go wrong. Stuffing, mashed potatoes, cranberry gravy. That one's really good. I do wish I thought about budgeting in like a slightly more expensive deli turkey because, you know, it is Thanksgiving. It does have that deli turkey flavor to it, and I wonder if I had gotten one from the deli section, if it would have maybe had a fresher, more oven roasted flavor. But if I had gotten the one from the deli, I would have only been able to get 6 slices and it would have been more expensive. So they had 6 slices for $5.50. I maybe could have swung it if I hadn't gotten the cranberry. And that was the toss-up, was it was either get some other lesser expensive ingredients and get cranberry, or get more expensive ingredients and don't get cranberry. I chose cranberry. So if you're gonna make this, I think it's fantastic. If you're gonna make this and you have an extra $1, swing for the deli turkey in the actual deli department of Walmart. I think it was called like Prima something or other. That's what I was gonna get. And it will give you more of that authentic oven roasted flavor. Whereas this one almost has that slightly sweeter deli turkey. I would almost call it a generic taste. I'm struggling to kind of come to words of how to explain it, but it is good. I will say it's good. It's like a 7 or 8 out of 10, and it could be a little bit better with just a small swap. I have never tried these Green Giant carrots. I've tried other Green Giant carrots, so hopefully these ones are good. Okay, those ones are good. They're quite sweet. Sweeter than I expected them to be. The sage is also a very interesting flavor. I don't know that I have ever had sage on carrots. As far as the side dish goes, I really just wanted to pick a vegetable that had a sauce and a seasoning. I could have gone with any of them. I just thought that the carrots with the honey glaze and the sage butter sounded the most Thanksgiving, whereas some other dishes like roasted Brussels sprouts may have been more of like an Easter side. So feel free to swap the side. I kind of left it open-ended for you to grab whichever side that you want. To me, what makes Thanksgiving is turkey, gravy, stuffing, and mashed potatoes. And like everything else is completely interchangeable. And the dessert, which we still have to try. which for our dessert, we do have our banana cream pie. I already cut the first slice out of it because, as you guys know, the first slice is always the hardest slice to remove. I'm hoping that the second one is nicer. My mom used to make a ton of these every Thanksgiving because they were really cheap and easy to make. And this one's not slicing any nicer. It's okay. Graham cracker crusts, especially pre-made graham cracker crust, I find are just not very stable. They tend to want to crumble. It's okay. That doesn't mean it's gonna taste. It's all about what it tastes like and not what it looks like, you know? Anyways, as I was saying, every Thanksgiving my mom used to make like a dozen of these pies to keep in the fridge because they were quick, inexpensive, and just an easy Thanksgiving dessert. So I would be eating these pies for like a week after Thanksgiving because we always had a lot of them left over. She would do them in every flavor. If you could buy a pudding mix, she would make a pie. And I'm pretty sure banana cream was one of the ones that she used to make. I was always a vanilla girly. I liked the banana cream, but I would pick out the bananas. I've grown to be a lot more fond of bananas in adulthood than I was as a child. I have always just been a vanilla girl. Always preferred vanilla over chocolate every day of the week. Still to this day as an adult. Not a big chocolate fan. But I think this was really fun. I hope you guys got some good ideas. That was a $20 Thanksgiving dinner cooked entirely in a hotel kitchen. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day, and I will see you again soon.